morning, everyone. We're going to be talking about driver responsibility today. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Let me know where you're watching from. Got an early broadcast, fresh, still on the first cup of coffee. Was going to get the second one going, but we'll get this broadcast going. Today we're going to be talking about driver responsibilities, truck maintenance, and avoiding costly mistakes. There's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of responsibilities that are required by drivers, and I just kind of want to explain. It's going to be an educational message. It's importance for proactive maintenance, driver responsibility. Pensacola's in the house. What's going on, Jamie? Good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Everyone had a great Thanksgiving. We're going to get this broadcast started here shortly. We're going to be talking about preventive maintenance, warning signs, driver accountability, timely actions that can prevent damage. We're going to talk about ownership versus operator. We're going to talk about those two. That's going to include owners of the truck and shops. Hope everyone had a great holiday. We still got Thanksgiving coming up. I know we had a few things that we're looking forward to. As I mentioned, we're going to be discussing driver responsibility, how negligence to your truck maintenance and ignoring warning signs can lead to costly repairs, and why driving responsible is critical. And we're going to talk about maintenance as well. Let's get this broadcast started. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing fine. Today's broadcast, we're going to be talking about preventive maintenance. Let me turn this music down here. If you guys got any questions or concerns you want to share, any insight, as I said earlier, we're going to be discussing how negligence on your truck maintenance and ignoring warning signs can lead to costly repairs, and why driver responsibility is crucial. Now, I'm not trying to put like, hey, you guys are at fault at all this, but drivers, you guys are with the truck a lot longer, for a lot longer period of time than the owners are, than the fleet managers are, than anyone. So this is going to be kind of just highlighting the responsibilities of drivers and what they need to be looking out for. Not to attack them at all. I do have an example of a courtesy inspection that I'd like to go over, which would just be an indicators of negligence to a truck. And this is why it's responsible for drivers to take responsibility for their truck, because as I mentioned earlier, you guys are the ones that are in this truck a lot longer than we are. So then when we get to the truck and we go in to kind of fix any problems that you have, it's still the driver's responsibility, ultimately the driver's responsibility to decide whether or not this truck is safe to drive, whether or not I should pick up a load and keep pushing the truck, even though I have warning signs that are showing me that I have problems. So I want to discuss all this. I'm not here to attack anyone, but I do have an inspection here from a truck that came into our shop. This is a while ago, but this person kind of claims that they are, I'm a mechanic, I keep up with my truck, I don't neglect maintenance, I keep on top of my truck, and there's nothing wrong with it. So I want to give you a little bit of highlights, and then also kind of want to show you just real world scenarios of just people not being aware of what the responsibility of keeping up with maintenance includes. They just think, I go into a shop and I've taken my truck to the shop a couple times a year and I should be good. Anything that happens to that truck is not going to be my fault. It's going to be somebody else's fault, even though I didn't keep up with maintenance that whole time. I appreciate your input. If you got any questions or concerns, make sure to add whatever questions you have in the chat. I see a chat that just popped up. Let me cover that one real quick. I shouldn't do live shows on Sunday morning because it's church time. We need to encourage people to do that, but it's just suggestion. I appreciate that suggestion, and one of the reasons why, and I appreciate you giving me that feedback. It is very important to be spiritual. Everyone should have a spiritual belief, and I appreciate your input. The reason why I'm doing it early is because in the morning when I'm on the coffee and I'm able to get the information just a little bit more clearer out to you guys. So the evening times are a little bit more at the end of the day where you're trying to wind down. So trying to get a show off at the end of the day is a little bit more challenging, especially if we're up and going all day and working. But I appreciate that input, W. You can always play this at another time. So today we are doing an early broadcast, and just depending on how our schedule is going to be keeping up, today I just want to get information out to you guys. So let's get going with this show. So basically I want to discuss the importance of preventive maintenance. Now, what is preventive maintenance? Preventive maintenance is preventing accidents, preventing repairs from happening. So if you're going to be, whether it's inspecting your truck, getting below your truck and inspecting your truck, whether it's keeping up with your tire pressure, this is all preventive maintenance. A lot of times we'll get comments on the channel and they'll be, hey, should I do this even though I don't hear anything or I don't have any problems going on? You never want to get repairs done or maintenance done whenever the truck is starting to make noise. For example, if you have a ticking noise and you have a valve adjustment that's been way past due, now you don't want to wait till it starts ticking. You want to do the valve adjustments way beforehand. The same way with oil changes. So preventive maintenance is preventing issues from coming up. Whose responsibility is that? The person that's with the truck most of the time or all the time is going to be the driver. So we all share responsibilities with this, but most of the responsibilities fall on the driver. This is because you're with the truck all the time. It's kind of like a pilot in his plane. You are with that vehicle all the time. So you know how that vehicle is running, when it's running correct. You know when problems pop up. You know when the truck is not running correctly. So as I mentioned, this is not here to shift blame or anything like that. This is just kind of bringing up this information so that everyone's more aware of who is really responsible for keeping up with maintenance on the trucks. The driver is the one has all the time with the vehicle, so it's very important to understand that. Okay, so preventive maintenance is very essential. Okay, preventive maintenance is what you want to do to prevent things from happening. I know that it can pile up, whereas, I got to get all this done. But when you go in for your oil change, you can do things that are way past due. What I would suggest is valve adjustments. If you're already on a regular PM basis, do your valve adjustments. Also, you want to change your air filters, the easiest things. The air filter is really easy to replace. The DPF filters will need to be replaced at 400,000 miles. Now, we can go on about the baking and blowing and stuff like that. I would recommend replacing the filters. Don't prolong them and run them too further, because then you're going to shorten the life of your one box. So I want to show you this is kind of a reason why I have this courtesy inspection up. Now, this courtesy inspection is a real live driver. And the only reason why I'm bringing this one up is because there are some issues that popped up with this vehicle, and this driver just pushes responsibility, doesn't take one bit of responsibility. And the reason why he's not taking responsibility is because a repair happened and he doesn't like the outcome of the repair after a year. And as you can see, this truck here has already 1 million miles. This particular driver will claim, and he won't be the only one, but he would claim that, I'm a master technician and I always keep up with my vehicle, and I've never neglected my truck. I never would have neglected my truck. This is not something that I would do. These are basically what they would say in a case like this. Now take a look at this. Now we know high mileage, there's going to be problems, and of course that's acceptable, but let's get a little bit deeper. And I just want to give you an example. This is an example of what neglect looks like. And this particular driver would turn around and say, I am a master technician. My truck is kept to T. Nothing's ever happened to my truck. But here are examples of the inspection. This is the oil pan on the bottom of the truck. Now the photo is a little bit blurry, but you can clearly see. You can clearly see that you have oil just all over, as you can see here. Got some light issues here. All right, going under the hood. All right, now we got some tire issues. I don't know why it keeps jumping around like that. Let me try to adjust it here. So here, let me make this here. Trying to adjust this. All right, now this is not to attack. Why can't I get this image up? This image does not want to work with me. So here we are, is what I'm trying to show you is some tires, but for some reason, let me adjust this. Give me a second, guys. So I'm just giving you an example of what neglect would look like if you're a technician or if you're a fleet owner or fleet manager and you're in charge of keeping up with trucks. This would be signs of neglect. So here we got some bald tires. Very dangerous to operate trucks in this condition. So you can see bald tires. This is just another example of I take care of my truck. I don't know what happened to my truck. Why a spec gearbox fell. Very little gear oil in the transmission, so no transmission oil. Engine oil below minimum level. These are significant signs of neglect. Significant signs of neglect. When you start running trucks like this, and you especially have high mileage already, if we go back to the beginning of this, this guy's got 1 million miles on his truck. So he's got 980, almost 1 million miles. Keep in mind, this guy says he's a technician along the side of being a truck driver, and he takes care of his vehicle, and he never neglects anything. So anything that ever popped up on his truck is not his fault, because he's been keeping this truck up to T all the time. So there's no reason why this truck would give you any problems, correct? I mean, you barely have any engine oil. You barely have any transmission oil, as you can see here. And I'm pretty sure there's more. Okay, we got oil pan leaking, which is where all that oil is coming from the bottom of the engine. Here's the compressor, air compressor, full of oil. Just full of oil, bald tires. So this oil that's dripping onto that's on the front of this vehicle is, especially when it starts raining, pulling loads on slick tires. Found dust cover damage on the side. So we got issues on the drive shaft as well, drive shaft neglect as well. So this is just an example of what neglect looks like. So guys, if you're driving your truck around like this with bald tires, more than 4 or 5 DOT violations, and you're claiming that you keep up with your vehicle and there's nothing wrong with it, these are signs of neglect. This is definitely signs of neglect. There's no hiding this. There's no hiding anything like this. And a lot of these times, and I don't mean to, as I mentioned, I'm not trying to attack anybody, but a lot of times these types of drivers, the neglectful drivers, the ones that don't take responsibility for their own truck, will blame everyone else. They'll blame everyone else for issues with their truck. And whenever this types of stuff is highlighted, oh no, I keep up with my vehicle. So this is a very, very easy sign of neglect. Okay, and it's I wouldn't say it's normal, but it's tough to keep these type of trucks up at high mileage. But you can't neglect this type of stuff. If you neglect this type of stuff and you have a breakdown, all of this is going to be on you as a driver. Okay, you are 100% responsible for this. Even if you feel that the truck, oh, you know what, I just had it looked at, it shouldn't have done this, you are still responsible for the truck. So even if you're neglecting all this maintenance, which is clearly shown here spilling oil all over the place, becoming a road hazard, a safety hazard. Legally, this truck shouldn't be on the road. But I keep my truck up, and I don't take no responsibility if anything ever happens to my truck. And I want to give you some statistics. We're gonna keep going into this. Regular maintenance can save you not only time, it can save you money, and it also can save lives. I'm going to give you some statistics of what preventive maintenance and what neglect, how much neglect. I'll give you a quick statistic real quick. Let me pull something up real quick. When I was researching this, and I wanted to pull some statistics up, and this is what impact of poor maintenance on safety. Motor carriers targeted for interventions due to vehicle maintenance have 65% higher future crash rates. So basically, this is saying that neglecting maintenance or poor maintenance has a 65% higher future crash rate. So that I mean, between 2016 and 2020, South Carolina experienced 584 fatalities involving large trucks, averaging about 10 deaths per month. That's insane. That's insane. And this is all due to neglecting maintenance. This is consequences of neglecting maintenance. This is right here, spilling oil all on the ground, pulling heavy loads with bald tires. I mean, this truck here would not even be able to get traction. And then I'm sure this guy is following the speed limit. I'm sure, just because his truck looks like he's just, of course, DOT just. This guy, I'm pretty sure, avoids DOT scale stations, everything. He knows how to get around those scale stations. But you got to understand, these inspections, if you think that you're getting by and you're like, oh, I'm saving money, I can still go make money, you're really just putting everyone around you in danger, and you're rolling the dice, and it's just a matter of time until an accident happens. Look at the statistics. It says here, in 2016 to 2020, there was 584 fatalities, which averaged out to 10 deaths per month. That's crazy. You know, I really used to be, and I'm really biased. Like I didn't really want to attack drivers, but when I'm out here and I see how some of these drivers drive, they're driving the trucks as if it's a car, and that's very dangerous. And then when I have issues like this particular driver here that claims that whatever pops up, that whatever happened on his truck after a year of repair from my location, claims that anything that happened to that truck is not on his watch. I mean, it's not his responsibility because the truck has been kept in prime condition. You can see it here. So anyway, common issues from poor maintenance include brake fluid, tire blowouts. This is types of stuff right here. This tire blowout, guys, share with me how much time it takes to get a tire replaced when you have a blowout. Tell me. Share it in the comments. Let me know in the chat. When you have a blowout, how long does it usually take you to get back going on the road? I'm sure everyone's probably going to church. You can probably run this back. So I have another comment about someone eating before church right now. I know that church is very important for everyone, and I'm glad that a lot of our viewers are spiritually guided. And I'm here on a Sunday. Got the first coffee in, so you can play this back later. But let me know how long it takes to get a blowout replaced. So anyway, a lot of different problems that come up when you're neglecting maintenance. And this is what I'm trying to highlight is driver responsibilities and maintenance. More than 1/3 of long-haul truck drivers have experienced a serious truck crash during their careers, highlighting the critical role of drivers and maintenance. So I mean, 1/3, that's 1/3 of long-haul drivers experience serious crashes. It's very crazy that there's so much accidents that are happening from neglect. Now I'm giving you some real world examples. Like for this one here, this is a real customer. Now, since this was a long time ago, we have changed our policies we have changed our policies, and what we don't like to do is service vehicles with more than 2 or 3 DOT violations. Now, as you can see, oil's all over, just drenched. This particular guy didn't want to get all this replaced. He didn't want to. We gave him all this information, but he didn't want to replace. He didn't want to repair anything. So that type of neglect is not shared with the shop, especially if the shop is not the one that's regularly working on the vehicle or even in charge of the maintenance of the vehicle. But of course, the shop would be the one, or everyone else that's not involved in the truck would probably be the driver. And I know it's probably just somebody not wanting to take responsibilities, but the driver will blame everyone else besides the responsible person, which is the driver. Again, I'm not here to attack anybody. I just want to be clear of what responsibilities are. We, as technicians, want to fix everything. We want your equipment to be up to par. So let's keep on moving. There's a couple other things that I'd like to cover. So warning signs that drivers should never overlook. This is the next warning signs are the next things I want to talk about. Don't ignore them. Okay, warning signs are there, and don't ignore them. T. Rod, thank you for sharing about what you said about 4 to 8 hours to replace a tire. That's a whole day. That's crazy. That's a whole day to replace a tire. Man, I hope they get it faster turnarounds. Not everyone goes to church. Stronger than Bigfoot. Yep. I am a believer, and I am a spiritual believer, but I do not go to a church. I mostly daily have my spiritual beliefs, and everyone has their reason. Everyone has their reason for not wanting to go to a place to worship. So if a driver was, what do you say here? That comment looks a little cut off. If I was a driver, I'd try to keep at least one spare tire on the truck, somewhere about 3 or 3/4 impact. Well, if you were a driver and you wanted to change your own tires, I mean, that's pretty tough for you to do that. You can do it. It's just if you're driving a lot, and then not every, you might not find a good spot to replace the tire, but good stuff. TAT, what's up, man? Good morning from Luis in Florida. So don't ignore warning signs, guys. If the truck is running odd, and you don't have and you feel like you don't have power or something like that, I mean, that's a warning sign. That's a warning sign. If your truck just got repaired and you're not sure if the repair is sound, that's a warning sign. And you don't have power. So, for example, we'll give another example. There was a customer who had an issue with the repair, and unfortunately, it's something that a lot of shops are dealing with, even the dealers, and it's manufactured parts. Issues with remanufactured parts. Volvo has tons of issues with remanufactured parts, aftermarket parts that they supply to everyone. Volvo has multiple times been involved with issues with parts. They've been caught hiding information so that they will not have to warranty items. And as you can see it all over the place, there's a lot of warranty happening. There's a lot of recalls happening. So even when new parts, there's issues that come up. So this particular incident, there was an internal repair, and it was questionable at the time because we had issues with parts, and there was continued parts failing. Volvo the dealers usually won't take fault. Nobody wants to take fault, even though they're the ones that supplying the parts. So in this particular case, there was an issue where the repair wasn't sound, and there was warning signs. The warning signs is low power, engine lights, low power. When your truck is not running correctly, you can feel it. You're the driver. As if I mentioned, just as I paired them with the pilots. It's your plane. So this particular driver decided to even though he had warning signs of low power, the engine was struggling, he decides to go ahead and still pick up a load. So drive out 200 miles to go pick up a load of heavy load. This load was chicken. If you guys haul any produce, any load is going to be heavy, especially nowadays, the way that these shippers are shipping. They're going to load you to the T. They're going to load you no matter what it is. If it's chicken, if it's tires, if it's cotton, if it's seed, if they're going to max you out. So he maxed out, drives 1,600 miles. The truck struggles to make it. Okay. One injector rocker arm cracks. Still pushing the truck, still pushing it with one injector rocker arm crack. Check engine lights already at this time. There's no way that this driver didn't realize, but still got under the load. And what happens when you get under the load? You get these people that start creating all this pressure. Oh, this needs to be there at this time, and they don't care about your vehicle. So who's responsible for it? Okay, is it the manufacturer parts? Okay, is the technician? Is it the driver? Okay, really, if you break it down, if the driver wouldn't have picked the load up and the driver would have realized, hey, you know what? There's something wrong with this truck. You know how much you're mitigating the problems extremely. Something's going on with this truck. Let me go back to the shop. Let's figure it out. I can't keep, I'm not going to put it under a load. Anytime you put it under a load, it's going to cause even more problems. You're stressing the truck, cause bigger problems. So another thing that you don't want to ignore is visual inspections. Okay, any visual inspections, looking in the truck. If you have issues, for example, this particular truck had issues with the transmission bolts coming loose after a repair over a year. Now, if anybody's familiar with these vehicles, if you do any kind of major work like that, you want to get it checked out. Especially if you're doing some very heavy work, and neglecting maintenance like this, inspections like that, definitely is going to give you more reasons to have failures. Okay, oil's coming out, transmission oil's leaking all over the place, oil still leaking out of the engine. This is just another reason, another visual aid of letting you know, hey, this is the type of stuff you don't want to ignore. Okay, if you don't fix these issues and you ignore these signs, the guy that tore his truck up, they ends up tearing their truck up. And an engine has to run perfect. Okay, so if you got any internal problems, if you have any issues with internal problems, whether it's a rocker arm, whether it's something on the valve not working correctly, those items, let me see if I can get rid of that right there. Those items should not be ignored. I bring this up all the time because those are all warning signs. And ignoring these warning signs is just going to cost you more repairs. It's going to cost the actual repairs. It costs more money, causing more damage. So these are just examples that I wanted to share with you. These aren't items that we make up. If you want to share, if you had any problems with, maybe you ignored a warning sign, if you ignored low power complaints and kept pushing your truck and end up causing the damage, in a lot of cases, that's what happens. If you keep pushing the truck, even if you know that something's wrong, you're just going to cause more damage. So this is the next section I'd like to discuss, is the driver's role and responsibilities. I want to discuss how drivers are the first line of defense in preventing these types of damages. This is why I share these stories, because you're with the truck. You're the one that knows what's going on with this truck. You're the one that knows if this truck is not running correctly. You're the first line of defense in getting your truck repaired or preventing any damages. Pilots performing their pre-flight inspections. Do you think pilots that don't do their pre-trip inspections or don't do their post-trip inspections and something pops up, they're able to blame somebody else? They're able to shift the responsibility or the blame to somebody else? No, they're not. They're not able. Driver's responsibility. The driver is accountable to ensure the truck is safe and operating. That's the driver's responsibility. And this is a big myth that we hear. This is a big myth, and this is why I bring this up. There's this big myth that pops up, is about to cover that now. this big myth that pops up is, well, isn't it the shop's or the owner's responsibility? Well, if you bring up these repairs to an individual, whether it's a fleet manager or a independent owner, and you bring the repairs up and they don't get done, then that would be on owners. But at the same time, if there's an accident that happens, who's going to be responsible for it? The driver is going to be responsible for it, because the driver is the one that's continuing to operate the vehicle, even though these repairs aren't getting done. If you're the owner operator, then you share a lot of responsibility. You hold all the responsibility. So, as for example, this guy here is an owner operator. He holds all the responsibility. But when something happens to his vehicle, he wants to shift responsibility to somebody else because, hey, I keep my truck to par. My tires aren't bald. I don't have a drip of oil that's dripping on the highway. I keep my fluids filled all the time. I don't have zero oil in my engine. I'm a technician. I used to be a technician before I was a driver. It's not the owner's responsibility or the shop's responsibility. There is a shared responsibility, but most of the responsibility is all on the driver. And I don't mean to attack you guys, but some shops get kind of tired of being blamed for negligence. I've brought this up before. If you go to a hospital or you go to a doctor and you've been neglecting your health for a really long time, and you go to the doctor, and the doctor wants to help you. The doctor doesn't want to keep you sick. He don't want a frustrated patient. So you take the doctor's recommendation, and it doesn't work because you have already had this long time of whether poor maintenance or poor dieting. So you get mad at the doctor since his diagnosis didn't help you, even though you were the one neglecting the vehicle, neglecting your health for that long period of time. It's a big responsibility that the owners share, or that the drivers hold, not the owners. Whether you are owner operator, then it would be all on you. Viewers, you got any questions about maintenance? Do you have any warning signs that popped up that you might ignore? You got any things that you might want to bring up, you want to highlight in today's broadcast? Mo's got a question. How do you know when Cummins 6.7 injectors are bad? Are you getting a check engine light? Sometimes, most of the time, you'll get check engine lights. Other forms is low power. I'm trying to adjust the studio so I can sit comfortably and look presentable, because right there I look hunched over. But it's because I got a few displays up. I got like 3 displays up here and the camera. Question: how was the truck keeps running with oil? I don't know how he just kept running it this way. He said he would add oil. It's a heavy leak off the compressor. Diesel engines are really strong. They really can run they're really built to run for a really long time. So you'll be surprised how much abuse an engine can take. But that being said, you don't want to abuse them. This is not an ideal condition to keep your truck, guys. Do not run it like this. Even though it is still running low engine oil, avoiding repairs to save money. Cabin filters as well clogged up, so everything red was pretty much, even the differentials had low fluid. This particular driver claimed that he is a mechanic as well, and that his truck was kept to T. There was nothing wrong with it. That's why he was able to get 998 miles on it, because he kept it up. So nothing should have happened to this truck. This is a clear example of neglect, clear example of shifting responsibility to someone else. What a driver like this would probably do, or has done and is doing, is blaming whatever repair that he did do. As a shop, you line all this out. Hey guy, listen, you got all this stuff going on with your vehicle, and I understand nobody can afford to fix everything at once. But what a shop is forced to do is decide, okay, well, we want to still help this customer out. Okay, well, what do you need? In this case, this transmission the clutch was out, and the transmission was burned up because of the oil. It didn't have no oil in it. So the transmission needed to be replaced, and that's all that he wanted to replace. Just transmission only. Don't fix no oil leaks. I don't care. Well, we need at least to put another clutch. Okay, bare minimum. I know transmission is not cheap, but as a shop, we want to service the customer, get them up and going. A year later, something pops up, and it's the shop, and it was the shop's fault. It's TAT's fault because I kept my truck up. There's nothing was wrong with my truck when I came in your shop. There's nothing wrong with it. And also, I'm a master technician, so that's how I'm able to keep up with my truck so nicely. Clearly, there's some driver neglect here. Not some, extreme driver neglect. So this is real world examples I wanted to share with you guys. The importance of a preventive maintenance, because you don't want to get your truck built up with so much maintenance that it becomes just tough to even get everything going. Don't give up on the maintenance as well. I know that we're trying to get moving with all these different changes in our market. We have seen some increases when it comes to freight, so that's good. We'll see how these the talks of terrorists kind of spike things up. Leaking oil from the crankcase when the engine is off. Switch from 1540 to 1030 Volvo D13. Well, if you didn't notice the oil leak till after you changed the oil, or you just noticed it after that. 1030 is a little bit of a lighter oil. Is there a reason why you moved from 1540 to 1030 on the Volvo D13? Both of them are considered approved oils as long as they meet the API ratings. But you should still be good. You still should be good with 15, or the 1030 is a little bit lighter, as I mentioned. But if you have oil leaks, try to get them looked at, see where they're coming from, and get them fixed, because over time the oil leaks will end up just causing more and more leaks. So it's very important, the importance of driver responsibility in truck maintenance and operation. Professional drivers, fleet owners, it's critical to understand that maintenance and inspections are not just recommended, but they are your responsibility. Neglecting to maintain your truck or ignoring warning signs can lead to severe damage, costly repairs, and even safety risks. So avoiding inspections or not doing inspections and neglecting maintenance is safety risk. It's not the shop or the owner that's not even in the truck. Preventive maintenance is your duty. These are some key points. Regular inspections, maintenance are essential to keeping your truck roadworthy. If something feels off or you see a warning light, it's your responsibility to address it immediately. This is what I was talking about earlier. You guys are the first line of defense when it comes to repairs. I know everyone's going to be on a rush. I know no one wants to be on the side of the road, but trust me, if you have warning signs, low power, anything going on with that, definitely do not ignore them and get them checked out. I'd rather get the truck towed in and be known for sure, especially if you have really large warning signs, or don't even pick up the load before you know that truck is ready to go, because the damage that's caused. And the thing is, it doesn't matter if you're under a load. Even if you're under a load and you're going to pick up another load and you have low power, the people that are paying you for that load are not going to pay for the damages that you're causing. And as I mentioned before, even with manufactured parts being defective, which you can look it up yourself, Volvo has many issues with. Not only Volvo, all these manufacturers have issues with remanufactured parts. So there's times that repairs can have issues. So any warning signs should not be ignored. Modern trucks are equipped with advanced diagnostic systems to warn drivers for potential issues. Ignoring these signs or continuing to drive can turn minor issues into catastrophic failures. The example that I gave you earlier about the driver that had low power before picking up the load of chicken could have basically he just ignored the signs and continued to drive. So he turned a minor issue into a catastrophic failure. And there's a pattern of that type of failure that happened with that same driver. So it's questionable of how much ignoring a lot of these drivers will ignore signs because they're so worked up with picking up the load. I gotta get this. I gotta make this money, and we understand that. But you're damaging your truck. You're causing more downtime. Should you change your batteries after 300K miles, even if it's still functioning okay? Thank you for the question, JS. What I would definitely do is get your batteries tested. There are load testers, and you want to visually inspect them. Thank you for sharing that question. I've been sharing a lot of information about batteries lately because of the change in weather, and I'm glad you brought that up because one of the clips that I released was about the future of EV, and I believe they took it the wrong way because. Which I'll cover in a second, but let's talk about these comments. My oil pan was sweating oil, but found out that the mechanic didn't put the brass ring on the oil pan. I fixed it. Is the oil pan okay now, or does it need further inspection? Well, if he didn't, good catch. Where are you getting your oil changes done? Because if he's forgetting to put parts on like that, that's got to be cautious about that. As you can see. I'm glad you shared that, JS, because even a simple oil change can cause some problems, especially with these modern engines. If you're not equipped or experienced to work on these, it's not just like a regular oil change. Those simple things like that will cause oil leaks. But that particular pan is still good unless it's still leaking after the O-ring. If it's still leaking after the O-ring, then you may have to inspect the pan a little bit further. Maybe tightening the plug without the washer could have damaged it, but if it's sealed up and it's not leaking, I wouldn't worry about it. And be careful who you're taking your truck to. Make sure to hit that subscribe and like button and share this video. Share the video. I should have told you that at the beginning of the broadcast, but appreciate that question there, JS. Appreciate everyone that's joined us. So, yeah, guys, do not ignore this. I wanted to talk about that question that popped up, but let me make sure that we finish covering everything. So, timely action is very important as well. Timely action means stopping to investigate an issue as soon as it's noticed can often prevent further damage. Delaying action not only increases repair costs, but it can also jeopardize your safety and that of others on the road. So if you have issues, if you notice issues coming up and you have problems and you ignore them and a fire occurs, whose fault is that? Whose fault would that be if you knew that the truck is not running correctly and you felt the truck not running correctly, but you continue to push it and it caught fire? Whose fault would that be? So ownership versus operation is another item, another topic or a key point. While the owner or shop has a role in providing repairs and maintenance, the driver has the final say in whether or not the truck is fit for the road. If you're unsure about the truck's conditions, it's better to stop and seek clarification rather than take unnecessary risk. The unnecessary risk is going to be destroying the engine or causing the repair to cost you more money. Just as you think that it's going to save you time because you want to keep pushing the truck further because you don't want to waste time. But what ends up happening is it ends up causing a more extensive damage. So the repair costs more, takes more time. And then a lot of times when all this neglect is coming up, it's because it's basically going to get blamed to whoever else who's the last person that touched the truck, whether it was a year ago or 4 months ago, even though the truck is being highly neglected. So don't take the unnecessary risk, guys. If you feel like something's not right, check it out. By staying vigilant and taking responsibility for the condition of your truck, you not only save time and money, but you also protect yourself and others on the road. Give us a shout, TAT, if you want to give us a chance. We got a lot of great service. We cover anything you need from bumper to bumper. We're very transparent about everything that we do. We're digital as well. We can send you these digital inspections that you see behind me. We can send you digital approvals, digital payments if you're from over out of state. We also offer fleet discounts if you're a fleet owner or if you are a fleet operator. Right now, if you mention today's broadcast, which is going to be about driver responsibility, we will give you a 5% discount off of your service. But you got to mention this specific broadcast. Give us a shout, 972-225-3017. Now, we're going to be increasing those discounts as the broadcasts go on, but I'm going to be like, you have to mention this particular broadcast. And I'm going to keep everybody in the loop. Not that you viewed the channel, but you got to mention this particular broadcast. And we're going to be offering more discounts here. As this year, we're going to be offering more discounts here coming up. So if you're looking for top-notch maintenance service, give us a shout. And we'll help you keep your truck running smoothly. So thank you for everyone that's joined us. We had somebody at the dealership. So JS says, I went to Freightliner dealership, shake my head, but thanks. What'd you end up doing at Freightliner? And guys, dealerships may look really nice, but I'm going to tell you, some of these guys are too big and they're not able to keep technicians, the quality technicians there. We get a lot of work from the dealers as well. Sometimes it's headache. Some people don't want to deal with them as well. So be careful. Be careful with what shop you deal with. If you already have a credible shop, if you already built a relationship with a shop, then check them out. Make sure they're clean. A lot of these modern engines, I know some of these shops, they want to work outside and just open up your engine outside, but that's not safe. Even if they say there's nothing that's going to happen, of course, they're not the ones that are going to deal with it. Most of the people that have to hold those problems is going to be the driver. That's why you feel the stress of, I hope this is done right, when some mechanics won't hold that same amount of stress. So this is why you hold that much more stress, because you are responsible for it. So if you have a truck like this where you're leaking oil all over the place and you got bald tires, you should be pretty stressed because you're not keeping up with your truck. Now this is the front tire here. You can see the front tire in the background, which is still low tread as well, barely any tread on this tire, while they're leaking oil all over the place. This is the oil from the compressor. This is a real world example of negligence. And as I mentioned before, unfortunately, these type of people will blame shops, owners. They will blame everyone but themselves, even though they're the ones that drove this truck to this particular condition. Doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me at all. But that's where we live in. That's the world we live in now. No one wants to take accountability for anything. Everybody wants to blame everyone else. Nobody wants to take responsibility. But this is why I did today's broadcast, so you can see real world examples and understand more. Guys, you're the ones that are with this truck. It's your responsibility. Keep up with this maintenance. Okay, I'm not saying, hey, you're the one that has to do the oil changes, but you're the one that has to keep up with all this. And there's a lot of different softwares you can use. There's different softwares that you can schedule your maintenance to help you keep up with it all, because I can understand it is a lot. It is a lot. Now, we had some visual inspections. We had some visual. Okay, another item we didn't talk about is common mistakes and how to avoid them. All right. Delaying maintenance is, we've been talking about maintenance this whole broadcast, and that's why I talk about preventive maintenance. Preventive maintenance is preventing issues from happening. So delaying maintenance is going to cause you a lot of problems. If you don't change out your fuel filters for a long period of time, you're risking burning up your fuel filter or your fuel pump. When that happens, then it just kind of just domino effects. Your metal can go into your injectors, cause your injectors to have issues. Misinterpreting warning lights. Okay, be sure. I know that I don't push scanners too often, but if you want a scanner just to know what your check engine light is popping, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with you clearing out these codes all the time and doing park regens excessively to try to fix a problem that you don't understand. Okay, so if you do that, you're going to cause more problems. Continue to drive despite performance issues. This is another common mistake. I just mentioned that in the real world example. If you continue to drive despite performance issues, means I have performance issues on the truck. I know that this truck is not running correctly. It has performance issues. So loading it, putting a load on it is not going to make it any better. It's not going to make it any better. Pushing it further, I'll wait for another 1,600 miles to see if it works, if it's going to be okay. That doesn't make it better either. Don't ignore that. That's a common mistake. Avoid that. If you feel like you have performance issues, get the truck checked out. You got to have, and that's basically all you can do. If you have a check engine light and you pull it up and it has something to do with the engine, get it looked at. There's not too much you can do with trying to fix things on your own besides changing fuel filters. And even then, you need equipment and you need priming tools. You don't want to get air in your fuel system, especially with these high pressure systems. So there's not too much you can do, to be honest. There's not too much that you can do besides get it looked at. And that's the advice that I'd give you, is to get it looked at. So as I mentioned, you guys can use different apps to keep up with either looking at the engine or looking at the check engine light. There's different apps that you can look at for keeping up with maintenance so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Remember, maintenance is an investment, not an expense. As some people want to save money, as this particular driver operator here wanted to save money, you're not saving money. You're not saving money by not putting good tires on. You're not saving money. Where's those tires at? You're not saving money. Maintenance is an investment. It's not an expense, guys. If you're gonna go long in this industry, you got to keep up with maintenance. If you're in it for the long haul, you got to keep up with maintenance. It's an investment. You're investing in your equipment. So we're going to be having some more broadcasts coming up. I appreciate everyone that's joined us. I may still be doing the morning broadcast. Let me know what you think. I know it's a Sunday, but I may be doing our broadcast during the weekdays in the morning too, because we can have the coffee fresh and keep on moving. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe so that you're notified the next time we go live. Make sure to hit that like button, as I mentioned earlier. Share the video. If you're looking for service and you're in the DFW, give us a shout, 972-225-3017. We're at 4140 Langdon Road, Dallas, Texas 75241. We'll be more than happy to help you. We have up-to-date equipment. We can get you in and out. We'll give you these inspections that I just shared with you here. We just give you this section. Oh, okay. Well, Sharkey Edwards. Be specific about it, since that's what we do. We can look at our there's always going to be trolls. You can't always satisfy everyone, but give me some details there, Edward. I would like to understand more. There's nothing to hide. Most of our complaints that we've set and we've tried to work through any complaint. So if you have a specific issue, let me know if that's what you want say we're doing dirty stuff. That's your opinion. But what I wanted to share with you is we have a nice track record of satisfied people. Now, we can't satisfy everyone. We try to, but we cannot satisfy everyone. But I mean, we have 4.3 5 stars. We got some great reviews, guys. Check us out. We do our best at everything. There are some guys. I'm like this guy here. That's the one that ran his truck. He ran his truck for a long period of time with head gasket. So I mean, we can't satisfy everyone, but we have a decent standing, guys. We have a decent standing, as I mentioned, 4.3. We're very, very good. We are very professional in everything that we do. Oh, pues voy a hacer más videos en español. Gracias para su comento. Gracias para sus vistos. Quiero hacer más videos en español también. Pero sí es un poquito jale para poner todo afuera. Y pues aquí estamos. 4.3. I had somebody just ask me when I'm doing more Spanish videos. But Sharky Airwords, give us a shout, man. Let's talk about it. If there's some stuff that you feel that wasn't right, we're open. We are open. We're not crooked people. We do honest work. We're not looking to get over on anyone. That's not how anybody can build a business. This is why we've been around for such a long time. Some people may make mistakes. We always try to correct our mistakes. So if there is something that you feel that was not right on your half or our half, give us a call, 972-225-3017. We have a positive track record as well. As I mentioned, we cannot satisfy everyone. Some of these drivers that are, and I'm not saying this is you, Edwards, but some of the guys that have these type of comments towards us will have their vehicles will look like this. This is how their vehicles will look. Bald tires, not basically neglecting their truck. So in a lot of cases, when they bring their truck to a location that's not willing to help you neglect your truck and give you these, hey, this is the stuff that needs to be repaired, this is going to cost this much, now we're the bad guys. But we much rather let you know your repairs and the issues that come up than not tell you. And then you, of course, either way we get blamed. Shops will get blamed for it. So, but Edwards, sorry that you feel that way. If you're willing to share, I'll stay on a little bit longer, but I was already looking to wrap today's broadcast up because I've been on for an hour already, almost an hour. How long has it been? Yeah, we're just under an hour. But if you want to be a little bit more details on that, let me know. Or if you want to call us, 972-225-3017. I'm curious to know why you have that type of opinion towards us. We do everything possible to give you guys the right information, even service you with quality technicians. We look for the best guys in the industry. We supply them with the best tools that they can possibly have out there. Some of these shops don't even have lifts. Some of these shops still have their technicians working on the ground. We update everything. We even keep anything that a dealer is gonna have. We have it. The only reason that we're not a dealer is because they won't allow dealers to be too close to each other. So we move closer to be more accessible to the locations. The only reason why we're not labeled a dealer is because we're too close to them. And another thing is you would get better service. You can ask the guys, ask anybody that's had dealer service compared to our service, and they're going to tell you that we were more transparent, the communications more, you get more out of the service with us than you would a dealer. Yeah, the dealers are bigger, they got maybe nicer waiting rooms, but I'm going to tell you now that the quality of service is not going to be the same. I can guarantee that. We've been doing this for a really long time. We'll be seeing you as soon as possible. Just want to make sure my engine is running good, compression and all. Definitely, we can do a compression test. I appreciate you sharing that, Riding Dirty. We'll be more than happy to give you a hand. 972-225-3017. You know where we're located at. Let me see if I give you that map again. Here we go. I'll zoom out a little bit. We're just south of Dallas, so you don't have to go into the city. You don't have to go into the city, but we're right here off Interstate 20, really close to Premier Truck Group. So there's the TA right there. The TA, the Flying J's right there. We can go satellite. Well, the images aren't updated, but the racetrack is here. TA is right here. Guys, be careful. I don't want to shame anyone, but those quick lube places are very dangerous as well. They got trainees there that can forget to put something on. We have quality technicians doing your oil changes. We don't have starters doing your oil changes. We have people with experience that know what to look for, and a lot of these guys catch it. Even with these inspections that I show you, this is a courtesy inspection that we offer for free, digital courtesy inspection. And I won't put you on blast like this guy here, but this guy is just being a little bit, as I mentioned, he's wanting to take zero responsibility for his neglectful truck, and things popped up after a year, and it's of course the shop's fault. And so guys, we do have overnight parking. Give us a shout. We could schedule that for you. We are gated with electric fence in the Dallas area. I know if you guys are worried about Dallas, it is a little bit sketchy out here, but in our area, it's not. Don't worry, we're not in the city. We're lower in the city, more commercial. So where we have our shop, we have it's very safe. We have everything, electric fence. We have motion detector. We got cameras that are accessible 24 hours. One of the managers is related to a sheriff in the area, so we'll get you looked out. We'll get you taken care of. Keep you taken care of. Appreciate everyone that's joined us this evening. Give us a shout if you're in the Dallas area and you're looking for service. 972-225-3017. This is a broadcast that we did in the morning because I had the coffee fresh. So 10 a.m. broadcast. We've been on for an hour already. Appreciate everyone that's joined us. If you're playing this back later, let us know what you thought about the show in the comments, or if you want to share some insight about what other drivers should be looking for, whether it's warning signs. If you want to share your experience, leave it in the comments below. We'll be more than happy to hear it. Thanks for everyone that's been joining us this evening. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.